All right. Good morning and happy Friday to you here at Filler Up Friday, name that a friend of Billy and myself she created for us, Miss Nikki Creole. We loved her and we miss her after her passing, but we carry on. And Billy's here to share with us basically how we can relate to and speak with clients who maybe have not made the best decisions or have poor credit because of things that are not under their control. And so he's going to help us know how we can still retain those in our pipeline and serve them well. So, Billy, the CEO of 700 Credit Repair, will you jump in, just kind of give us a brief introduction to who you are, and then
Thank
share
you.
with us what you brought today?
Thank you so much, Phil, for first off for having me. And I'm fortunate that Nikki connected us, and I'm super glad to be here. And again, sorry about that, but what a great person she was, and I'm fortunate that she made this intro. So yeah, my name is Billy Alt. I'm the founder and CEO of 700 Services. We own and operate several companies under that umbrella: 700 Credit Repair, 700 Business Credit. And today I was just going to, Phil asked me to go over some things that realtors can discuss with their clients to help them raise their credit scores and maybe give them some tips and tricks and stuff. Because Phil, as you know, we're in such a different environment. We have two types of clients who I work with. I have clients who may be 550 to 570 or 600, and they're trying to get to that 640 mark just to get approved, to get 620, 640 to get approved. But we also have a lot of clients. Our business has grown more and more over the last couple of years, where we'll have the guy with maybe a 680 who, if he gets to a 720, we can save a percent and a half on the interest rate. And so in today's environment, like what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing from my mortgage folks, and I deal with probably 1,500 realtors and lenders, and more deals are being lost than due to financing than anything right now. And it's not even people not getting approved, but it's maybe the guy with the 680 that gets approved and the interest rate's 7.5%, and he thinks that he should qualify for 4.5%, but he don't. And so in turn, he just decides to wait and stay in the house that he's in. So we have a lot of clients also that utilize our services that, like I said, they may want to get up to that 750 mark so they can, I don't know what a good interest rate is anymore, 5 or 6%, I guess, if you're bulletproof credit. But
Yes.
but really, it's not the manipulating the credit score is not that difficult if you know what to do. It's like anything. So we just reverse engineer everything, and the problem is the bad advice that goes out to a lot of people. If I've got somebody with a 550 credit score, I know they probably have some minor junk collections that I can get removed. They probably don't have a whole lot of credit. What they have is probably maxed out. So it's usually a pretty easy fix. We remove bad, we add some good, or move around the good, and scrub up a few other things. And to catch 100, 125 points on a 550 is really not that difficult, to be honest with you. But, the advice that I always see on social media and stuff is, oh, you don't need a credit repair specialist. Get a secured credit card. A secured credit card does nothing but hurt your credit score if it's under $2,000 for a number of reasons. It adds inquiry. It changes lowers your age of average account. So it's the bad advice that really just sets people back. So what Phil asked me to do was come on and maybe give some good tips and tactics and tricks and stuff, and which I'm all for that. But then also, I think, Phil, it's important that realtors know when to say when, or lenders know when to say when, because there's a lot of hand-holding that goes with credit repair. You can explain things to people, but I don't know if somebody's 50 or 75 points off, I mean, find a professional, let them get with a professional. It's kind of like me. I can talk mortgages, but I can talk a mortgage enough to get in trouble. So if somebody asks me mortgage questions, I just say, man, although I've got 30 years of experience in the mortgage game and real estate and blah, 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 it's just not my lane. So let me get you with one of my professionals. So, again, these few little tips and tricks, and I don't want to get kind of too deep, but I will explain in detail some stuff that you guys can do. So with that being said, I made a little presentation. If I can share my screen.
Okay, you work on sharing your screen. We had Chris is jumping on right now, and April is jumping in, so they're new to the guys.
Hi,
If you
Chris. Hi,
guys,
April. Can you enable the screen sharing? It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
100%. If you say pretty please, then yes.
Pretty please.
All right. Okay, let's see here. All right, welcome Chris, welcome April. If you guys have any questions as we go through, make sure you throw those in the chat, and we will, let's see, make the host. You are now the host, Billy Alt.
Okie dokie. Okay, let me see. All right, can you see it?
I can, yes.
All right, let me move my thing out of the way here.
Bucking bad credit. I like
Bucking bad credit. So whenever Phil and I talked, he said, "Hey, let's do something around your horses, like let's do a bucking bad credit or something." And I thought, I've never done that, so I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I like it because I'm proud of these guys. This is Prince, El Principone. His name is actually, we call him the Prince, and he's a 5-year-old Friesian stallion. He buddy of mine is a 6-time recording artist, El Charro singer, big time El Charro singer. This is his horse. He dances him and uses him for he's got a big venue ranch that he does. I can't say this word, even though I hang out with Spanish guys all the time. Quinceanera, they always make fun of me. So he uses Prince he does big Quincen, whatever they're called, at his ranch. And Prince is his show horse, is his dancing horse. So I'm very fond of this guy. He's amazing.
Very nice.
So
You can use that as your new catchphrase. Bucking bad credit.
I love it, man. I love it. A little bit about me real quick. Again, my name is Billy Alt. I'm the CEO of 700 Services. This guy on the right here, this is El Rey. This is another one. This is a big time horse right here. He's a 5-star AAA accredited Friesian stallion, imported from the Netherlands, and he's actually fixing to be the daddy of one of my mares that I'm breeding with him. So I'm super excited to get something out of him. But he's a showstopper too. Again, I'm CEO of 700 Services. I'm an international best-selling 2-time author. I'm a consumer credit expert witness, licensed to offer my testimony in both state and federal court. I'm a recognized consumer credit expert. I'm a FICO expert. I've actually been in the mortgage and real estate game for about 30 years, actually. I also have a Texas real estate. I'm a Texas Real Estate Commission instructor. I have a home buyer and a realtor credit 101 class that I do for realtors and for homeowners. I have closed over 5,000 real estate transactions personally. I'm a subprime mortgage loan consultant. I'm a Fair Debt Collection Practice Act consultant. And my team, we have a documented 20,000 credit reports that we've repaired. And I'm also a featured host on TV shows, YouTube, stuff like that, local news stuff. So anyway, just a little bit about me. I just wanted you guys to know who I am and all that. Some stuff about my company, 700 Credit Repair. We have been in business over 15 years. Again, 20,000 families help. My wife and I run the company. She's also a consumer credit expert witness. She has 30 years experience, about 10 of which was with Wells Fargo. That's probably a dirty word these days, but so she's like my right-hand man in my business. She oversees our dispute process, all of our paralegals. There's always a consumer credit expert witness on my staff during hours. We're licensed and bonded, nationwide programs. I can do business anywhere, any state. Last 6 years in a row, we've been a top 10 credit repair company award recipient. We have a 78% deletion rate. I like to keep my numbers low though, but 70% deletion rate. Again, we have a credit expert, FICO expert, and all my girls who do my processing and stuff on the back end, they're all paralegals. We only hire the best. My average employee's actually been with me, I think like 9 years. So my lead paralegal's been with me 12 years. So we've got some good experience. What we do through 700 Credit Repair, we increase consumer credit scores by removing negative entries from our clients' credit reports. That's our main focus. We remove bad stuff from credit reports. And over the last 15 years, we've become very, very good at it. We also help clients build and maintain the proper credit mix to help increase their credit scores as quickly as possible. That's time kills deals, time kills everything. So our deal is fast. We process probably over about 600 clients monthly. Again, 15 years in business. So, and I'm only telling you that to tell you this, that my back end is as good as it gets. I'm telling you, the best group of people, staff girls behind me doing the back end stuff and creating our letters. All of our stuff is original letters. We don't use form letters and stuff like that. So we're very good at what we do. Why, I used to, when I was in the real estate, I was in the mobile home business for a long time too, and did mortgages and stuff like that. It was part of really my real estate career. And that industry has changed as has the real estate industry. And, in the 80s and 90s, Phil, me and you'll probably remember this. If somebody had bad credit, it was almost like, sorry, get out of here, I can't help you. And the way people were treated and are treated is really terrible. It really, really is. So why should you help people raise their credit score? Well, one, it's the right thing to do. And two, nobody else is offering to help them. We're basically the only cheerleaders a lot of folks have. And you'd really, really be shocked at how many people are just a credit card or two away from a 700 credit score, or you'd be surprised at how many 580s are one or two collections and then adding a credit card to it away from being a 650. And then wrap your head around this one. An 800 credit score has more borrowing power than $1 million. It really does. Assuming the budget's there, the income's there, the job time is there. If somebody has an 800 credit score, they've got the borrowing power of a minimum of $1 million, which is an approval for a realtor, which is an approval for a mortgage guy, which is an approval for y'all. Right. So why should you help people raise their score? Because it's an approval. It's an approval letter is what it is. And, the successful groups that I work with, they're not trying to close. They are trying to close stuff today, but their focus isn't really today. Their focus is like June and July. Their January is done. Their January was made up in November and December. So throwing stuff in the pipeline, it has proven to be a huge success for a lot of people. And again, I deal with some companies that do send us 100 customers a month. It's crazy. And it's a numbers game, let's face it, because if you sit there and spend an hour or two giving folks, the information to repair their credit, probably 1 out of about 20 is going to listen to you and go do it. So really, it's kind of foolish to spend too much time, give a few tips, tricks, and tactics. And if they move forward with it, great. But, especially with social media and the 1-star reviews and getting blasted for no reason at all, you just can't kick people to the curb, for lack of a better term. And the older I get, the more important I realize how important that is. But then I also deal with this every day, and I understand that bad stuff happened to good people, and not everybody thinks that when they see a bad credit report. They automatically just think, oh, this guy, and that's really a shame. So with that being said, let's look at some of the things that the quickest way that you can raise a credit score. The 3 fastest things that your clients can do to increase their credit scores so that they can maximize their borrowing power. And again, whether it's trying to get from a 580 to a 620, or whether it's getting from a 650 to a 720, to really maximize that borrowing power, get that lower interest rate, and get that best approval. The 3 quickest ways to get there are, again, to remove negative items from their credit report. That's 35% of the score. Their utilization is 30% of the score. So if they could lower their utilization on their credit cards, specifically revolving, that's the second best thing they can do. And then 3, look at their credit mix, the types of accounts, and the age of the accounts. So, and we'll get more into that here in just a minute. So those are basically the 3 things: remove bad, lower your balances, and have the right types of cards and the right age and length and stuff, history going forward. So let's talk about how to remove negative entries. the first thing that they have to do, the first thing that a customer or a client has to do, or anybody has to do, is know what's on their credit report and find the negative items that are on their credit report. If I had somebody with marginal credit, I would never send them to a mortgage guy for a turn down. I would consult with somebody like us and get the customer, like, let's get your credit report. Let's see what the score is. Let's not walk into the bank blind. I mean, that's what we tell our customers all the time. It's your responsibility, Mr. Customer, to know that. You can't be angry if you don't know what's on your credit report if you get turned down. So the first thing is get your credit report. And I'm gonna give you guys a website where y'all can go. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and you can go get all 3 of your credit reports annually for free. So the bureaus have to give you a free credit report. So annualcreditreport.com, even if you're realtors, if you're not sure what their score is and the customer wants a free copy of a credit report, y'all can go to annualcreditreport.com and get a free copy and know what's on your credit report and see what's on your credit report. That's the first thing. Then what I would do is I'd go down that credit report and I would circle and look at everything that's negative. And you can't really, not all negative accounts are negative. And I'll get more into that here in just a second. But, once you find those negatives, the dispute process is not that difficult, again, if you know what you're going into. So a couple little secrets on how to get things removed. If somebody has a collection account, so when a third party buys a debt, say ABC Collection Company buys a Home Depot card, and it gets reported to your credit report, you can send a letter to Home Depot, to the collection company, certified, and you can say, hey, I want you to validate this debt. And what that means is they have 30 days to send you information showing what the original creditor was, who it was, how much it was, how much they bought the debt for, and some other stuff, right? So when you send that, if I pull my credit and I see ABC Collection and I say, what the heck, what's this on here? So I can send a validation letter and say, who is this? What is this? Prove to me you own the debt. When did you buy it? Who'd you buy it from? How much was it? For 30 days, that collection company cannot talk about you. They can't report anything about you. They can't verify anything about you because it's called a validation period. So one of our tactics is on collections, we send a certified letter because we got to have proof they received it, send a certified letter to the collection company, and then we turn around and 2 or 3 days later, we'll go dispute with the credit bureaus, knowing that they can't verify that account. So that's a great little tactic. If you have collections, send a validation letter to the bureau, to the company, and then turn around to the credit bureau, and you could literally handwrite a letter and just say, hey, dispute ABC Collection Company. And in the event they do verify it, it's an FDCPA violation, which is a $1,000 fine. So they usually don't do that. If they do it, they get a fine and the debt gets made whole and it gets removed. So that's kind of a good little tip. On other accounts, on other things, slow pays or charge-offs or bankrupt or stuff like that, bankruptcies, whatever it is, you can dispute it. And there's nothing you can't dispute. Bankruptcy is a good example of bankruptcy. The way they report to the credit bureaus is they report that the subscriber or the reporting source is the county, which is inaccurate. The counties do not report to the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus pick it up through LexisNexis. So on bankruptcies or public records, we'll send a letter to the court and we say, hey, why did y'all tell the credit bureaus that I filed bankruptcy? Why are you reporting negative information to the credit bureaus about me? And they'll 99% of the time send back a letter saying we're not reporting it. And so we take that letter, send it to the bureaus, and it's unverifiable because the reporting source says Collin County, when in fact it's not, it's LexisNexis. So again, another violation because that's inaccurate information. On collection or on charge-offs or slow pays, the best way to dispute one, whether it's accurate or not, if you have a $5,000 charge-off to Home Depot, I'd create a custom letter, I'd handwrite that letter, I'd sign that letter. And basically what you want to do is never use letters that are found online. The OCRs at the credit bureaus, optical character recognition software, the bureaus get about 25,000 disputes a day. That's 75,000 across 3 of them. They kick back about 70% of the disputes they receive as frivolous. So why they do that is because they scan and they'll see a letter was already used, or a form letter, or similar words, or whatever. So they deem it frivolous. They say there is no merit to this dispute. You're just grabbing stuff off the internet and you're just mass disputing, and they'll kick it back frivolous, and they can legally do so. So again, how do you beat that? Handwritten letters are the best. Signed letters are the best. For my company, if you live in Tennessee and I'm in Dallas and I mail a letter and it's postmarked in Dallas, I would never put a Tennessee return address. I would leave it blank, because we know the bureaus are going to match the address on the letter to the postage stamp. And if I'm Phil and I live in Tennessee, I'm not driving to Dallas to drop my letters off. The bureaus know
Right.
that. There are just so many little things like that. And that's why I say just get it professional. But then again, like, I'm a consumer credit expert witness, and I have to study and train, and I go to court for this kind of stuff or whatever to defend companies. So there's just a lot more to it. There really is. The other thing is, you never want to, when you're trying to remove negative entries, you never, ever, ever want to dispute online. When you dispute online, you electronically send in a dispute. The bureaus actually make money on it. And whatever answer comes back, you agree to that answer, and you agree to not redispute that account, or you agree not to ask to see the method of verification for 18 months. So when it comes back verified, I can't say, oh, that's interesting, let me see the method of verification. If you're saying Home Depot verified that the account number is 12345, I would love to see that verification. When you dispute online, you waive the right to ask to see that for 18 months. So they take the next dispute right out of the gate. So never, ever, ever dispute online. Tell your customers, and it's easy. They make it so easy. You can go to Credit Karma or these free sites, and it'll say, oh, is this inaccurate? Dispute it. Credit Karma gets paid a quarter for that dispute. The credit bureau is charged 52 cents, and then they outsource it for 8 cents. So everybody's making a quarter. And
Yeah.
so they're just trying to, and in fact, Credit Karma just got a fine from the CPFD or whatever for, I think, $1 million or $2 million. They're just a lead source is all they are, and they just got whacked big time. So never dispute online. That's why everybody wants you to dispute online. You go to myfico.com or buy these credit subscriptions, and anything negative, they'll say, do you want to dispute online? And you don't want to do that. So there's a few little tips on how they can remove negative items. The second quickest way to raise your score is to lower your utilization. So how do you lower credit cards? Or how do you lower utilization, I should say? Well, one, you can pay cash and lower your balances. And a lot of people do that. So me, for example, we run our company off credit card. We do checks, obviously, too, but most of my vendors do credit cards. So we use credit cards, and then we pay them off at the end of the month. If I'm going to go buy a new car or a new truck or a new house or whatever, or if my score's important or whatever, then what I'll do is I'll pay my accounts off 2 or 3 days early. So if you have a customer that pays off their credit cards, but the utilization is reporting high, you could have them call the creditor, Cap One, whoever, and call them 2 or 3 days before that statement cuts off, and get the amount, get their balance, and pay their balance. That way, when the statement cuts off on the 30th or whatever, if they paid it the day before, it's a zero balance. That data, the zero balance data, is getting reported to the credit bureaus. And I think you guys are probably in a higher end market from what I understand. So I would think that probably a lot of y'all's clients probably do use their credit cards and then pay them off the end of the month. Use their credit cards, pay them off the end of the month. But if the statement cuts off the 30th and then they get the bill the 1st, whatever that statement cut off is what's being reported. So to beat that, just go pay them off 2 or 3 days early and have a zero balance. And again, that's a third of your score. So it makes a huge difference. The other thing you can do, and everybody should do this all the time, but don't go use it. Call your creditors and ask them to increase their credit limits. And the only reason they won't do this is if you're paying 10 days behind on your bill every month. If you're set up and you're paying it on the due date, the second or whatever, and after 3 or 4 months, every 6 months, I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't increase those credit lines. Again, why they won't is usually because somebody's paying them 10 or 12 days behind. Then they have no interest in doing that. Another thing you could do is you could get added to a high limit authorized user credit card. You don't want to get added to grandma's credit card if she has a maxed out balance, of course. But by being added to, I started all my kids right out of high school on this is no joke. I have 4 kids in their 20s, 28 to 24. Every one of them have a 750, God is my witness, score or higher, and have for a while. all drive brand new cars and blah 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 whatever. But they've been very disciplined in that. And how I started that was I put all of them on an American Express card when they were 18 years old probably. So they've all got aged credit. Now they've got their own credit cards. Now I can probably get put on theirs and use their credit cards.
Nice.
So, but anyway, so getting added to a high limit authorized user credit card can not only add length and age and depth to a credit bureau, but it can also help the utilization. You know, especially if mom or dad or aunt or uncle or grandma has a 20,000, and I don't say this like boastfully, but like I've got some $20,000 credit cards that are zero balances. You know what I'm saying? So like I could put my kids on there, no problem or whatever. So that's another great way to boost utilization. And then consolidation loans. What people don't want to do, they never want to go to a one of these companies where you pay them to manage your bills and pay your bills, because basically what they do is they let them charge off and then cut deals with them. If you know, by transferring balances, that's a great way for consolidation, because FICO would rather see one maxed out card and 2 zero balances than 3 cards at 30%, if that makes sense. So it's smart to put all of your stuff on one card if you have a better interest rate or whatever. Navy Federal Credit Union, there's a bunch of other banks and stuff out there. Navy Federal is a great resource. If you have any military experience or your family, anybody in the family, they're very easy approvals, and they actually really like consolidation loans. So, you know, in most consolidation loans, it turns into an installment loan, which then it kind of helps your score, because now all my revolving is zero, and then I've got this one installment loan, which is like a car loan or something like that, which is their balances being higher is not near as bad as a revolving credit card. So consolidation loans are another great way to take advantage of that. The other main part of your score, again, your history, and the first thing we talked about is 35% of your score. Your utilization or balances is 30% of your score. Your credit mix, your credit age, your history, and your inquiries, that makes up another 30%, 15%, 10%, 10%, so 35. FICO likes to see different types of accounts. They don't like to see 15 installments. They don't like to see 15 revolvings and no installments. They like to see 2 to 3 revolving accounts, which are credit card accounts, and then maybe 1 installment. So example, Sears, Kohl's, Visa, in a car. Or if you have 2 installments, then you'd want probably like 4 revolvings. If you have 3, you'd want maybe 1 more. So like a good mix, I have like, I think 18 revolving cards and 4 installments or something right now. So you want to do like 2 to 3 revolvings for every installment for a perfect mix. FICO sees that as equity almost. If I have $100,000 in credit card debt, which is junk debt, which is going out to eat, which is clothes that I've now outgrown or whatever, it's worthless assets. It's not an asset, as opposed to a vehicle or something, especially that I paid down a little bit. They see that as more of an equity situation, whether it's a house, whether it's a car, and even student loans. FICO loves to see student loans paid down because they think they're working, and they nobody will ever admit this, but education plays a part in the factor. It really does. And people with student loan accounts tend to have a higher score. I mean, that's across the board, and it's shocking, but it's true. You can also create history and length of time on the bureau by being added as an authorized user, as I just said, on a family member's account. And then you want to make sure that you're maintaining a positive credit history moving forward, meaning for the last 6 months, I've not missed a beat. I've paid everything on time, and that does a lot in itself. You'd be surprised how removing some bad, adding a good account or 2, and then just 6 months of on-time payments, even with some recent draws, how quickly that can turn that score back the right side up. And then you want to be very cautious in opening new accounts. FICO has a strong distaste for new accounts. They dislike new accounts. FICO hates accounts under $2,000. They think there's no merit to it. I think something like 85% of credit cards that are below $2,000 are actually maxed out. It's when people get up into the, and you think about it, like it's our grandmas and grandpas and dads and whatever that had the big credit card balances or limits with low balances. So, you know, again, just that statistic, 2,000 under $500 credit cards, secured cards are typically maxed out. $350 starter credit cards are typically maxed out. So with that being said, we follow the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and their laws and consumer rights. And the dispute process the credit bureaus must follow is the FCRA details how a credit bureau must handle consumer complaints. When a consumer disputes a credit file item, the bureau must note within the file that the item is disputed. The bureau must then inform the consumer of what action was taken. Was it verified? Was it modified? Was it deleted? Or was it deemed frivolous? Which again, is an awful provision that allows the bureaus to basically say, you're full of garbage. And that's being nice. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, again, it specifically states that every item on a credit report must be 100% accurate. It must be 100% verifiable, and it must be 100% timely. So let's look at accurate. Every part of the account number. You can, if you're disputing an account, you can say, hey, verify the account number. You can turn right back around, send another letter 2 days later and say, verify the date of last activity. You can turn right back around and say, verify the open date. So when we talk accurate information, it's not just like, oh yeah, that timeshare was mine. No, that timeshare may have been mine, but like, is it the right account number? Is it the right start date? Is it the right end date? And like account information is crazy. Accurate information is kind of crazy because like you think about a repossession, a vehicle repossession. Before a car repos, Ford Motor Credit, Ally, GM Financial, Toyota, all of them will try to work with you. Usually to the point where they'll say, hey, let's put this late payment on the back. And if somebody's had a car repo, they probably had to add a payment on the back end of the note. That note just became a 61-month note. It's no longer a 60-month note. So if it's showing 60 months on a credit report, it is 100% inaccurate information. You're breaking the law. It's an FDCPA violation. I can go get my attorney to write you a letter, and I can get $1,000 and split it with him right out of the gate, and then get the account removed. So you really got to think like outside of the box on stuff like that. And when the bureaus update certain things, or I'm sorry, when creditors update certain things, it costs them money. Or like you can't just go change the number 60 to 61 on the bureau. You have to recontract a customer. They don't do that. They're not asking the customer to recontract. And like legally, what's happened is that entire account was altered. It should be closed and new and reissued or reopened with the new terms, but that's not what they do. So, you know, things like that, like on a repo, if somebody's, you know, again, put a payment on the tail end or 2 or 3 or 4, and they all do. That's the way it works. That's the way it starts, because the lenders want their portfolio clean. So they're going to try to work with you before you get 30 days late. So, you know, stuff like that. Every part of the account must be accurate. Every part of the account must be verifiable. Again, the account number, the date of last activity, the open date. If they can't prove it, they have to remove it. Again, that's why you don't want to dispute online, because there is no proof. It's just a yes or no. And then timely information. The credit bureaus can only report items for 7 years. They can report public records, i.e. bankruptcies, for 10 years. And then the statute of limitations is 4 years in Texas. So they have 4 years to report. So a little trick that the collection companies do, and I'm sure you guys see this all the time, and they re-age and redate, or they'll show the date of last activity as a month ago or 2 months ago, or they'll show it currently delinquent. It's not delinquent, it's a collection account. That's inaccurate information. Also, we always warn people, be careful to not paying collections without doing your homework first, because of that re-aging process. Because if you have a 6-year-old utility collection for $300 and you pay it, it's now going to show the date of last activity is today. It's going to renew it. They can't remove it. They just change the information. By law, the creditors cannot go in and remove something once it's been reported. They can't do a paper delete letter. That's false. what they do is they go in and show it as a zero balance or a paid account, but they update the date. The law of diminishing applies in credit. The older an account gets, the less it's hurting you. FICO does not care about the amount. They just care about the fact that it was a collection or a charge off and when was it. So Billy may be rocking and rolling, doing good, and have some charge offs or collections 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm clean, and all of a sudden I go pay off this $3,000 piece of junk debt collection, and it shows it is brand new, and my score drops 80 points because FICO thinks now he's had a collection in the last 24 months. What else is going on? And then if I had 10 inquiries, it's like, oh, so he's got a collection and he's looking for money. So it just starts spinning backwards on you. So you got to really pay attention to that. Do you have any questions? I'm going to jump into the makeup real quick. Anything that you want to jump in or add, Phil? I know I'm rocking and rolling, but
You're getting it done. And any of our participants have questions? Do a little raise hand or just shout out.
I have one question.
All right, April.
Mine was something stupid. It was with Comcast, and I had asked my service to be shut off. Had the closing documents, but anyways, I'd already paid my payment, but they were trying to charge me for a month of service. So March, I closed on my house like February 26th. So I disputed it, told me they'd take care of it. Next thing I know, I get a collection thing and it nicks my credit. And it's like for $100, I wish, I know you're saying don't pay, but I wish I paid it because it's been such a pain in the butt.
yeah,
like trying to prove that.
Right.
The closing docs I have, but it's just, I mean, some of these companies, I feel like it's almost better just to pay it and be in the wrong.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because, and it depends on what you're talking about. So obviously the paying it before it gets on there is the key, but once it's on there, if you have a new collection, then yes. And if it's that amount, I would absolutely pay it. I'm more talking about accounts that are 3 or 4 years old for,
Right.
500, or if it's something like that. In fact, if it's under $100, it's not affecting your score anyway. It just looks bad. But what I would do if I were you, I would pay that account and then I would turn around and dispute it. And how I would dispute it, I wouldn't do the validation part. I would just straight dispute it with the credit bureaus and just say, I paid it. I was under the impression it would be deleted. Here's my receipt that I paid it. And because of that amount, they'll probably remove it. But you could always do like a validation letter and send it certified. I wouldn't go to that trouble because of the amount. I would try the easy way first. And if it doesn't get removed, then you could do the other process. But yeah, if it's that amount, April, I would certainly just go ahead and pay it. And another thing, medical collections, they passed a law, and the credit bureaus as of January of last year can no longer report zero balance medical collections. And as of March, actually they passed it this year, as of March of this year, anything 500 and below, they can no longer report if it's a medical. So the only medical that we'll see in the future is $501 or above. And if you need help, April, with that, I can give you my number and you can call me after or next week or whatever, and I can help you. That won't be no problem. We can get that taken care of. We can get that.
No, I have a few other things too after going through divorce. So I would definitely like to talk to you.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I'll give you my number.
All right, thank you.
Talk about it.
Pre-divorce, I had a like 700 and something credit score. Post-divorce, boom, that drop off, man.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Phil and I were talking before the show here, and I divorced. I don't know. It's been a long time ago, 18 years ago, I think, or something like that. Same thing. I was bulletproof credit, went to I don't even know. I didn't even look. I didn't want to look. And, when I went through the putting my head in the sand, like a lot of customers do, for 2 or 3 years, and finally realized that this is not going anywhere. And, actually by going through all that, I got out of the real estate industry and got straight in the credit repair business 15 years ago as a result. So, but yeah, we've all been there. Past delinquencies. Let's go real quick. We've already kind of went through this, but I'll show you on the pie. The past delinquencies or your history is again 35% of your score, which again is why it's so important to dispute negative items. Your revolving debt ratio makes up a third of your score. Keep your balance low. your average age of credit file. Stop having tell your clients don't open new accounts. Stop. 15% of your credit score comes from the average age of your account and how long you've been on the bureau. People with 800 credit scores, they have an average age of credit of 20 years, and their oldest account is 30 years. So if you want to get to an 800, you just got to mimic those items. 10% of your score comes from your credit mix. Again, FICO has a strong distaste for all revolving or all installment. Furthermore, if you really want to get detailed, there are credit cards and there are store type cards and there are charge cards. So a perfect 3 revolving cards would be a charge card, which is an American Express type card, a credit card, which is a Visa or Discover type card, and a store card, which is like a Home Depot. That's a great mix, believe it or not. FICO loves that. And then you combine that with one installment account, like a vehicle or a student loan or whatever. So credit mix is a pretty big thing. Inquiries, there's a lot of bad information about inquiries. And with credit, you got to turn off the makes sense switch in your head, because it really doesn't make sense. When inquiries really start hurting you are when you have new collections, or when you have maxed out accounts, or when you have 30-day lates or slow pays, because now FICO's like, oh man, pump the brakes on the score. So like Billy's over here, he's got 3 collections in the last 90 days, 18 inquiries. He was late 7 months ago on a car payment, and both of his credit cards are maxed out, and he wants more. So FICO's basically saying, I would like really pump the brakes on this. And when inquiries don't matter is for when you don't have any collections, when you don't have any baddies or negative items, when you aren't maxed out, or when you don't have excessive collections or whatever, then inquiries really don't even matter. They don't even harm you, but they can if they're mixed with other influences. So again, past delinquencies, debt ratio, average age of credit file, mix of credit, and inquiries, that's what makes up your credit score. I want to share my screen with you real quick. I'm sorry, I want to share some of our results and stuff with you real quick. But although it sounds easy, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. And again, I'm here to give you tips and stuff, but I'm also here to let you know that I'm an incredible free resource for realtors and mortgage LOs. If you'd rather hand off your clients to us and have them handed back to you on a silver platter, then I'll show you how easy that process is and how seamless our process is and what we do for our referral partners. First of all, our claim to fame, or whatever you want to call it, our number one, our best program is our home ownership guarantee. So realtors and LOs and stuff I deal with, this is the program they love. We actually guarantee our clients that by the end of our program, that they'll be credit score eligible to purchase a home. We guarantee that they'll be a 640 or above. And how can we make this promise? Because in most normal credit cycles, the financial rehabilitation process takes 2 to 3 years. With this program, we compress the credit restoration process into 2 to 4 months. It's accomplished we work with attorneys, my paralegals. We do letter after letter after letter. We do courier services. I mean, we Lexington Law, let's take them for example. Whenever a customer disputes with them, they'll sign up with them. And if they have 20 negative items on a credit report, Lexington Law will dispute 3 to 5 items on one bureau this month. Then next month, they collect their payment. Next month, they dispute those same 3 to 5 items with the second bureau, and so on and so forth. They just keep, they drag it out for billing purposes is all they're doing. That's what they do. Their average client stays with them at $129 a month for 18 months. My average client, we're done in 90 days, 120 days tops. But again, we send out a letter immediately, or we send out our audits and our stuff immediately. We turn around 2 weeks later, we hit them again. And I mean, we're just like staying on top of it. So we compress what we should be doing in 8 months or 12 months into 2 to 4 months. And the faster I can get a deal from 5 to 7, the happier my referral partners are, and the less work and time we're going to have in it, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the quicker we close a deal and we're done with it, the better off we are. And what my internal process looks like when a lead or customer, or whatever you want to call it, if you send me a customer, they call in talk to one of our portfolio managers. And the first thing we do is a detailed credit analysis. We get their credit report, whether we go to an online site and get it, or if they have it, or if a mortgage guy's pulled it already, we look at it. We'll go through their credit report and do a very, very detailed analysis. And then once, we go over our pricing and all that stuff and see how we can help them, answer questions and all that. Then once a client signs up with us, we create a custom recommendation and coaching sheet based on their FICO code. So when you pull a FICO score, there's going to be 5 codes showing exactly the 5 worst situations that's going on. The 5, like 034 is high revolving credit or utilization. 047 is excessive collections. So we know, like, the number one thing hurting this guy's score are his balances on his credit cards. So my recommendations are pay down these balances, call Capital One, ask for an increase, call Credit One, ask for an increase, call Discover, ask for an increase, pay down those balances. Or, if they have an upside down mix, maybe they have no installment, we'll have them open up a little installment loan that we can get them, or whatever it is. We take the full analysis and then we give them written recommendations on what they can do while we're doing the dispute process. So once the file goes to my processing and my paralegals, we send out unlimited legal audits, then we send out unlimited legal letters, advanced tactics. We do a lot of certified mail, courier service, stuff like that. We offer a lifetime guarantee on anything that we remove. If we remove an account and it goes back on your credit report, we guarantee you for life that we'll redispute it for free for you, and we'll continue to redispute it till we get it removed. Once we send out our letters, we'll wait about 35, 40 days. We re-pull the credit report. We see what's changed. We update the customer. We update our referral partners through a portal. We re-pull credit and do all the updates, update the affiliate, update the client, and then we wash, rinse, and repeat. If we got 10 items removed and we went from a 580 to a 630 on that first 40-day cycle, then cool, boom, we send back out another round of disputes. So the stuff we didn't get removed, we go back and ask for the method of verification. So we're just repeating that process about every 30 to 45 days. We don't have to have results. Our customers get credit monitoring, so I'm able to, we can go look at their credit score in real time and see what's going on anytime. In our home ownership program, we also give our clients what we call our credit coaching and VIP membership site. I'll show it to you real quick. Which is just a site that shows like where they're at in the process and what's going on. In fact, here it is right here. They get videos of
for our customers.
My wife and myself.
It's a platform
explaining kind of what to do, what we're doing, what to expect. We show them a process, communication timeline, what they can expect. So we're very, very transparent with our clients. I'm a service company. You can never give too much information. We're very, very transparent with our referral partners as well. But you can see what the coaching site does. These are all the lessons. When will my letters go out? Your letters are out, results, credit monitoring, what to expect in days 45 to 60, coaching, communication, recommendations, and how we update our clients is, or actually, let me back up. Our audit report, our analysis, what it looks like is this one? Oh yeah, it's perfect. So here's a credit analysis and a recommendation sheet we do for every customer. I'm not going to try to cover up the names. It's not like you guys are going to go try to sell them a house or something. But here's a perfect example. This is what one looks like. So once they sign up, we put their credit in the system, and my software actually creates this for them. So it's 100% like foolproof. There's no errors or inaccurate information or whatever. So like this client signed up with us. This is their original credit report, starting scores, 22 accounts, 8 inquiries, 12 collections across all the bureaus, 16 positive, 26 negatives. It shows their credit card usage, average usage are at 92%. It shows exactly bureau by bureau. It's broke down. And then all their derogatory items are marked. And the minute I put their credit in my system, it generates this report. And so it shows exactly what's negative, what's positive, what type of an account it is. This is actually a great customer. This is a great candidate for our program, because like we'll do very, very well with this client because collections are like our forte. It also shows if they have public records, it shows their inquiries. And then our recommendations, this is actually one of my daughters works for me, Lexi, and she's super detailed, as are all my entire staff. But once she went over the credit, then she'll go back and look at everything. And this is their recommendation. So like she's saying, you have a Capital One card, 500 limit, 403 balance, 81%. If you haven't already, work on paying this down. Credit One, same thing. And then you can see down here, First Premier 800 limit, 600 balance, 78%. If you haven't already, work on paying this down. I recommend you request an increase on the limit of this card. So like we try to lay out, like I can't do this for them, but I can tell them that, you know, if they just knock off 100 or 2 off each one of these balances, it'll knock them down 30% or whatever. So the analysis form is super informative. They get this, they can start working on their stuff. We start working on their deletions, removals. How we update them is through a portal. This is what their portal looks like. They have a dashboard. It's a different customer. They have a dashboard that shows, this is the portal they log into, and my paralegal communicates with them. There's notes, they can talk back and forth. During the sign-up process, it shows like we need your driver's license, proof address, whatever. And then their credit status is where they are right now in my program, what's been deleted, what's been removed. There's messages we communicate back and forth with the customer through the portal. And then in their documents tab is where they can find, and we email and text them their analysis form, but also all of that stores in here also in their portal. And the resources, my internet's terrible, it's taking forever to load this, but in the resources tab of our clients portal, you know, I probably have to. Let me go back to this one. Oh, well, the portal has all that information in it. And we also have a workbook in there and our resources tab that it's kind of like that other VIP site, but it shows, man, just all this stuff that I'm talking about, y'all. It just really educates the customer. It's like a 10-page PDF book that I wrote, super good information. Once a client signs up with us, we send them out their analysis. We start the dispute process. We start doing their letters and all that. And then again, we wait about 40 days and we go in and re-pull their credit report. And then once we re-pull their credit report, we generate this form. Like you can see on this client, their score went up 61 points. The previous score was 555, now 61, or now 616. Previous 561, now 624. 563 to 609. So if you look at this customer, they've been with us less than 60 days. They were a 561 mid score, and they're now a 616 mid score. I mean, that's a game changer. Yeah, assuming they have a job and budget and stuff, I mean, that they're almost approvable. And all she has to do is pay down a couple of cards and she'll go up another 20 points. But
how many days have they been working with you?
They're in their second round, which means they've been with us less than 60 days, because we just sent out their January 10th, 3 days ago, we sent out their letter. So they signed up with us probably 1st of December, December 10th, something like that. Our letters go out and it takes 2 to 3 days for the letters to get there, but then we re-pull credit in about 40 days. So probably about December 1st to the 10th, somewhere around there, something like that. So a month or two, call it 2 or actually. But they've went up, I mean, an average of what, 50 points. But it also, this report shows, and see, like she's a 616 mid score. She could pay down these credit cards or get down to, you know, I don't know, 20% and probably pick up another 40 points. I mean, it would be that drastic. But
Right.
we're still disputing. We're still disputing. We've got 47 items being disputed. She actually also got some new negative items, and the score still went up that much. So had we not had some new negative items added, it would be up even more. And we communicate all that through our client, through the portal. Well, I lost it now. That's right. But we also, Gabby or whoever will tell them, you know, like, hey, if you do this, you'll catch this many more points. We're going to continue disputing, but you can also do this. And then this new report shows total Equifax improvement. Actually, they've been with us, Phil, since November. So the dispute process probably started 1st of December. So call it 60 days, something like that.
Yeah.
Equifax, it shows everything, what else is left, what else we're working on, Experian. And again, she got a couple new negative items, which hurt us. And we still jumped up that much. TransUnion, same thing. It shows it all bureau by bureau. So every single round of letters we do, we not only update their portal, send them a message showing what all's changed. One of the girls will put, you know, hey, your utilization went up on this card. You really need to pay that down, or whatever the case may be. Whenever you're a referral partner, like Phil, I'll get you set up on a portal. This is what one of my referral partners portals look like. So this has been, he's a car guy up in like the Northeast somewhere, but these are leads that he has sent us, and it shows if it's a lead or a client. Here's a client that he sent us, and you can click here and that's actually mine. You can click here and go to the client's portal. And I'll show you once I get y'all set up how to do this, but like here's that client's portal once it loads. So this is interesting because this guy's been with us, I'm not sure how long, since May. And I can show you all the notes. We're still waiting on his IDs to do his dispute process, which is actually not very uncommon, believe it or not. And it just kind of shows you how people do stick their head in the sand. But in the resources tab, there's the workbook I was telling you about. But like as a referral partner, you'll be able to see all of that. You'll be able to see all of that stuff. There's also web forms that we do for our referral partners in their portal. You can go in your portal and get web forms. So if you wanted to enter a new lead and send us a lead, you would send it through here, or obviously you could email us or text us or whatever, and we'll call them. But you can also get a lead web form link that you could use to send people. There's also web
And that'll
forms.
send them your direction.
Yes, exactly. And then you can do like this code and put it on your website. And so
Yes.
it's for a free consultation. So again, you can just like, you could enter a new lead like that yourself through the portal and just put all we need is their name and how to get a hold of them. We fill in the rest. So, and then again, you could like just send them this link. And then this link, whenever I get this link in, then I know that that's associated. I don't, the computer does. It sticks it in under bin. So if we get a lead in through here, or if you put this code on your website, this is what they look like. The forms look like.
Okay. And then let's say we shoot a lead over to you, and you work with them 2, 3, 4 months, and we forget them. We forget their, that we sent them to.
Yep.
How does that work when you
So
get them in a good place?
Every update, every time that one of your customers updates, which means like every 35, 40 days, where we pull in credit, seeing the new score, we send a portal to the client, but we also send a portal to the referral partner. So I would send you a portal. I'd send you that customer's portal. And in that customer's portal are the notes. Again, you can see what the starting score was, what the current score is. The progress reports in there, but really all you got to do is look at the customer's portal real quick, and like this guy, you could click on it, had he signed up yet, and it would show what his scores are.
Okay.
You'd see exactly what the scores are, what's going on. We also send a notification when a customer gets over a 620.
Okay.
And
And that
we
comes through email, or does it?
we do it via email, yes.
Okay.
And a lot of my guys work, a lot of my guys I work with, referral partners, they'll work with one person. Like, so like my son Cole works for me also, he's my VP of sales. Like if Cole was your guy, then Cole would pick up the phone and call you, one, to keep the relationship strong, but let you know, like, hey, you brought these folks to the dance. We don't want to just go tell them they're 700 so they can go shop you. We let y'all know first. So whenever, otherwise my system does it also, but my guys usually work one-on-one with people too.
Yeah,
But
I'll
we
take
notify-
Cole. Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, I'll hook you guys up. Cole's he's my oldest son. He's been with me. He graduated from Texas Tech, I don't know,
Awesome.
7 years ago, and been with me since then. So, or 6 years ago, something like that. But yeah, I'll get you lined up with him, your team. Real quick, but the transparency for us, Phil, that's everything. Again, that's what we have to offer. But whenever you click on your customers dashboard or whatever, I mean, it'll give you that information. So again, we don't want to be a pest, but we send every update to our referral partner. So if we send you an email, it's worth opening. It's either like, hey, this customer's ready, or they're getting close to being ready. But again, once somebody's 620 or over, one of the girls will ping all of us, and then whoever's referral partner client that is, they'll call them or whatever. And those are fun calls to make for us. You know what I'm saying? We enjoy those calls.
Well, and it's got to be a good call for your, like, for
Oh,
a
yes.
real estate agent to be able to call that person and
Yes.
say, hey, I heard the good news. Let's get this going, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And especially whenever, out of sight, out of mind. And again, if you just start throwing 3 or 4 or 5 people a month into the wheel and let us do our thing, we'll give you updates. I mean, some of them are false. Some of them are going to, like this one guy hadn't even gave us his IDs yet, and I think he's paid off his program. And believe it or not, that's very, very common. And we probably call him every 3 days to get it. And he may be out of the country. He may be working out. Who knows? There's
Right.
a lot to it. But like, so again, it's like you may put 10 people in there and forget about them, and all of a sudden you get a call in 90 days, like, hey, Phil, this guy's a 720, he's ready to go. And yeah, it's a fun call to make. Here's some results, and you can go to our website at 700creditrepair.com. Here's some actual results. I actually hadn't put them on here for years because our results are ridiculous. They really are. And I'm saying that braggingly, but I'm not. But I get sick of posting this stuff.
Yeah.
But here's our website, and you can see like judgments, bankruptcies, foreclosures. I mean, it does repossessions. I mean, you name it. If they can't prove it, they have to remove it. So like nothing's off limits or whatever. I mean, a bankruptcy is no more difficult. In fact, it's easier to get removed than most things. So it doesn't matter what it is. And then we have, where are my testimonials? I wanted to show you guys some testimonials. And then we have a bunch of testimonials on our website too, that you can go check out and look at. There's another page in here somewhere, and then I've got some frequently asked questions. I write a blog, and I write a deal called Billy's 50 credit tips. Here's some blog stuff you can read over. My 50 credit.
Those blogs and things are things we could even, use to send to clients.
For sure. Yeah. You can repurpose. And like what a lot of guys do when they start something, when they either start with us or about every 90 days, we'll send out maybe like some of these Billy's 50 credit tips, and then we'll attach like their web form with them and just say, hey, if challenge to their database, if challenged credit's keeping you from purchasing the home of your dreams, reach out to our credit repair expert, Billy Alt. Here's some information from him. Here's a way to get a hold of him. And then that's all you have to do. Then, because if they hit the consultation, it's assigned to you. Then
referral link, basically. Yep.
Exactly. And then we're calling you saying, hey, you got a new customer that signed up, or whatever the case may be. If you guys are on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. It's Billy Alt. You'll see the picture of El Rey, which again means the king. You'll see the picture of El Rey, so you can't miss that guy. but follow me because I do a ton of, and I probably won't have any here. Here's Gabby, one of my paralegals, my main paralegal. But I do a ton of tips, and I don't have any close up, but I do a ton of videos and tips. I do a lot of videos, a lot of stuff on like how to raise your score. You know, I did one yesterday on inquiries, why they don't matter, or we may do one on charge offs or stuff, but I constantly do tips and stuff. So you can follow me on Facebook, and then also on my 700 page, 700 Credit Repair. If you will follow that page or like that page, whatever, because again, we put a ton of good, valuable information on this page. And also we get a lot of obviously customers for our referral partners off of this page. Here's our workshop that we were doing. Like we post stuff like this: homeownership does not take perfect credit. FHA loans allow you to only put down 3.5% with a score of 580 or higher. So like, you know, of these 37 people who liked it, probably 10 of them want to buy a house.
Right.
So, you know, follow us because like we put a lot of good information on there. This is about medical debts. And it's great content too, Phil. I have a ton of folks that like, they just love repurposing it for the content, and it don't
Right.
hurt my feelings to share my stuff because it just gets our name out there, you know?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that's a little bit about our power process, our analysis, our client portal, our affiliate portal. Here's some affiliate remarks. Some of y'all may know some of these people, and I just grabbed a couple. Actually, Eduardo works up there with Alex Jimenez up in your area. I think they're in Knoxville or something. Here's a client that we did of his raised their score, and he's saying some nice stuff. Crystal Miller had an amazing look at Billy O's LO. I know they're quick, organized, and guaranteed to be coming back to me happy. Jim Prince is in Maryland, I think. If you're an LO or a real estate agent, you need to hit up Billy O. His credit repair is so freaking fast, your buyers will be approvable within 45 days most of the time. Kenny Boardman is Billy's man of credit repair, fixed mine, and many of my clients, zero complaints. So, and again, on my website and on our 700 page, I've got a ton of reviews and stuff like that. So anyway, that's really all I got. I know I jammed a bunch of stuff in there and probably went way longer than I should have, but I hope it was helpful. And if you have any questions, I'm here.
Awesome, man. Well, we definitely appreciate you sharing today. I now understand how I can retain somebody that, I mean, so what my normal process is kick them over to a loan officer, mortgage person, and that person works with them, and I have no clue what they're telling them, what's going on. You have a system, you built a business around it, so definitely see that as a wise decision. So I've got a client meeting to get to. I'm about to jump off the call and run to that, but
awesome. Well, good luck.
The folks that were on the call, I'll make sure that they have a way to contact you, the Facebook link, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
And then you feel free to send me anything I need to do to onboard as someone that would be.
Okay, I will. I'll have Brittany get you all set up. I think she may have already done that. I'll make an intro with you and Cole, and then we'll go from there. Man, I really appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate the time. I look forward to working with you.
Yeah, and success stories, here we come.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, Billy. Good
luck on your appointment.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.